You want to be an architect?
Maybe a truck driver?
Maybe a realtor?
Something in the medical field?
Huh. Listen to Career Paths Unedited on that.
Thursdays.
All right, so we've done this a few times.
Oh yeah, I know.
We've done a few. And
I know. I was just wondering if I was too close or.
No, you're fine. Just relax. It's all good. If you need to take a drink when you take a drink, take a drink.
Sure.
Like this. You just do like this.
Yeah. Always with the career paths out here.
Well, thank you. See, Mike's good. Not all our guests will figure that out, but you've already got on it, so I'm good job.
Well, I'm a
Quick learner.
I'm somebody who is very empathetic. You know, you have to be in order to work hospice.
Yeah, geez. Well, yeah. Are you ready,
and
Mike?
help people transition.
Technically on YouTube, we're on.
Okay.
So I got to introduce the show. You ready?
Go ahead.
Ryan?
I'm ready.
Waiting on you as usual. Welcome to Career Paths by InfoNet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Behind the camera, behind the scenes, Mr. Ryan King. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
Sometimes he gives me that, sometimes he doesn't. Today our guest is Micheal.
Yep.
Zundel.
There you go.
Okay, we're shaking. And so you got a couple things we're going to touch on. What have you been doing currently? Wait, I'll back up. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing real
I've been
well.
told, I'm trying to get better at that one. Things going good? You're in a great mood.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen you for over a year until we ran into each other Saturday night.
Sure.
And it was good to see you. And here you are already on the show. And you said you watched some of the episodes, huh?
Yes.
And you still wanted to come on. Remember that, Ryan?
Hey, with pure enjoyment, and I was beaming because I was so proud of you, baby.
You know, I have fun doing it. It's just part of my ham side, trying to have fun and be an entertainer. So overall, now, what have you been doing, your job/career lately? Because we're going to touch upon it. He did hospice, and that was for 10 years. But that was when did you stop doing? What was your time frame? Years for that?
We're talking middle 90s to beginning 2000.
Okay.
So about 10 years hospice
Okay.
work. At the VA, at the
okay.
working with veterans.
Yes.
So yes.
And I'll get back to that. I'm just trying to get your time frame.
Sure.
So, what have you been doing lately, or what was your last job/career that you've been doing? Putting computers together, correct?
Yep.
And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, I've been doing that. I got certified in about 2004, I believe. And before that, I would do stuff like when 95 came out, about 6 months after it came out, I bought a system, and I gotten. See, I'm on Social Security disability,
Okay.
and
You have some issues that we'll cover here in a minute, but we'll get back to it. Go ahead.
okay, yeah, and what I did with some of that money was that because you get a settlement, you know.
Okay. I have no clue. I'm not that special.
Yeah, well, what they do is basically once you file for it, your salary, your the amount of money that they would give you per month adds up from the time that you start.
Right, until you actually okay it.
Yeah, until they get.
I
I had to go in front of an administrative law judge,
Sure.
and in order to get it, it's very, very difficult to do. But you just have to be persistent.
Right.
If you're disabled, if you're somebody that.
So when you're disabled, go ahead and for our listeners and our watchers, you went through the list, and I really didn't know this, and this is one reason I like having people that I know on the show, because I'll learn a lot about you. So what have you dealt with, and was it from childhood initially? Some of the other stuff, you said something else that happened to you that I know obviously So, what do you deal with on a regular basis?
Okay, I am a chronic pain patient because I have congenital intestinal disorder. I have also I had Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Lot to deal with.
Have you been dealing with that all your life?
Oh yes,
Okay.
the congenital intestinal disorder I had. That's congenital. That was since birth.
Right.
You know,
Right.
before birth.
Right.
Actually, I had a loop of my small intestine. No, excuse me. Yeah, loop of my small intestine went up through my liver through what they
Wow.
call the foramen of Winslow,
Yeah, okay.
and
Never heard of
it
that.
goes through. It went through and it went up around my heart
Wow.
and then down. So anytime I would drink like milk, especially, so like in kindergarten and stuff, when
Okay.
they would pick the milk monitor or
Okay.
whatever, I would dread it. I would dread that time because of it would hurt, you know, pain.
Wow, yeah, I would
from-
imagine. Did
from
you
that.
not? Did your parents didn't know this at that? Until when? When did you find out? When did you figure it out? How old were you?
14.
Wow.
And see, I thought that was normal.
Right.
It's sort of like somebody who has been abused
Right. That's all you
thinks-
know.
thinks that's just normal behavior or something,
Right, wow,
or even
yeah.
sexually, you know,
Right.
messed with.
Right.
They just think that's normal. Well, I did. I thought it was normal. I thought, you know, you just drink milk or
Right.
you
And
eat,
that's how.
and it's pain, you know.
Yeah, and you think everybody's like going through the same thing. They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, so I didn't say
Wow.
much about it, other than my mother knew something was wrong because they had to switch me from, as when I was baby, from milk to that soy
Okay.
stuff,
Yeah.
because I was, you know, having problems. So anyway, she went ahead and did, and also I would get really pale because they used to call these types of disorders. They used to call it green sickness or gray sickness
Interesting.
because
How the
your
skin would
face
do.
would go pale,
Wow.
you know, through the pain and that kind of thing.
I
So,
would, wow.
so I always kind of dealt with that, and I thought it was normal until, you know, I finally, you know, got Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, which was proven later, and it started to eat at my intestines.
Wow.
So that's when they found out, ooh, something's really up.
Something's going wrong. That's not right.
So they went ahead and had me in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks or something
Wow.
like that. And
How old were you about that time? 15,
I
14?
was 14, and at the time they thought I was a school avoider. I did not like school. School was not a place that I loved to be.
Right. A lot of people
but-
don't, but
Yeah, but
you're going through
even
what you're
more
going through.
so, yeah, because of that, because of
Yeah,
the pain
yeah, that-
amount, and it would cause me to lose focus, you know, and
I would,
stuff.
yeah, well, you're dealing with the pain and
But I'm kind of a sponge. I'm somebody who, when, you know, I watch history stuff and that kind of thing for fun. That's just
I
fun
do
to-
now. I didn't
to
when I
me.
was a kid though, but
Yeah, I always did. I always was interested in different aspects of the world, social, you know, things, you know, how social interactions, class,
oh yeah, I understand what you're saying.
and class structures, governmental structures, you know, mathematics. I liked some, but
So I gotta interrupt. real quick. Do you have is your mom and dad still around?
yes.
I didn't cover that.
My dad's gone.
Okay.
He passed of he had liver cancer that spread
Okay.
all over. Oh, mostly lung.
Okay, so mom's still around. You have brothers or sisters?
Yes, one brother, one sister.
Okay. Older or younger?
Older, much older, 6 and 7 years
Okay.
apart.
I did not ask that question. I forgot to ask. So when you at that point were your brothers and sisters around, or you were the baby of the family? So
They were until I was about around 13, and then my brother went to college.
Yeah.
He went to Denver.
but when you started going, your parents started figuring out you had these problems and you were in the hospital, they got to focus on what was going on. Didn't they?
Oh well, what was going on with me? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If the other two kids are out going, they're doing the thing, then the baby of the family, we got issues right here, so we got to deal with this. Which
Yeah.
I'm sure they were kind of freaking out on it just
Yeah.
because there's a baby of the family. And you're 14. This has been going on all of your life, and they weren't aware of it. Not because they did anything wrong. It's just science. You just assumed it was normal, so you didn't know how to communicate. So.
Well, actually, at the time, and this was quite interesting, to be polite.
Interesting.
I was so avoiding of school and stuff that they actually thought that I had some sort of mental difficulty. So I was seeing a psychiatrist at the time.
Wow.
And this psychiatrist needed a psychiatrist because she was very strange. So anyway, and she wanted to pull me out. She wanted to pull me out of the general hospital ward as I was going through this illness.
Okay.
And she wanted me to go up to the psychiatric ward.
Wow.
And be treated there. Oh, they'll treat him just the same up there and everything. And I was like zoned out on the medications they were giving me.
But obviously,
for
mom and
pain.
dad didn't fall for that.
So I just sat. Yes, they were my guardians.
Oh, yeah.
They were my saviors because I just kind of like went, well, yeah.
Oh, you're 14.
Sure.
All of a sudden, thrown in. Yeah.
Whatever, I don't care, but they were like, no, he has a medical problem.
Right.
Why complicate it that way?
Yeah, exactly. So, you've dealt with that all your life. They figure that stuff out.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I had, when I was 22 years old, a little bit later, I had surgery to correct because they had to.
Okay.
So they took about 16 inches of large intestine and 4 to 6, I think it was 4 inches of small.
Okay.
So that junction between your large intestine and your small intestine, they had to take that out, much like they would with...
I've never dealt with this. You're the first I've ever talked about.
Yeah, with appendix, an appendix thing. So they had to take that whole junction out, so they had to create a new one.
Wow.
And that and everything. So it's called a side-to-side anastomosis.
Okay.
And they went ahead and did that, and they said that would take care of my pain or 80% of it. It took away maybe 30 to maybe 30% of it, and I'm still to this day
Dealing with it.
dealing with it. Yes, the after effects, because it ravages. Crohn's disease ravages the inside of your intestines. So as things move through, you're gonna have pain.
Wow.
So food's an enemy to me.
Wow. Yeah, I would imagine anything. Yeah. Wow, that's.
But Victor, I was really impressed. That you knew who I was right off and everything, because between the time the shock
Yeah, it's been a while
wasn't there
Yeah.
and stuff, I lost 100 pounds.
I still recognize you.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just like you. I just do different things. I'm just crazier when I do my other stuff or I do this. So.
You're awesome.
You going through what you've got. I give credit because I know I've met many other people that have gone through things I have no concept of. You guys, what you've gone through, you're more inspirational and a hero than I just dress up and pretend at times. You actually have gone through stuff. So I'm just shush, Mike. Just shut up and listen. You don't have to say anything. Just you. That's why I want you on the show, because you're going to hopefully inspire somebody what you've gone through. And how old are you now?
I am 51 years old.
There you go. And you survived all this time. You've been enjoying it. Here you are on the podcast. I bet you didn't think that was going to be happening a week ago, did you?
No.
So there. Okay, so we're going to get back on the career paths end of this. I appreciate you sharing the other part because that's obviously got to be challenging, and I have no concept. You're more of a warrior than I am.
Oh, come on. Okay, I'll accept that.
There you go. So you graduated high school?
Yes.
Okay. So out of high school, what did you start? Did you from there? You do miscellaneous jobs. How did you get into the healthcare or at the VA? Because 10
okay.
years of your life and the compassion, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, actually, the group that I was involved with called itself Compassion in Action. It was started by a man, very great man, who had he had 3 near-death experiences.
Wow.
One thing, I got to backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah.
Is when I was 22, like it's not quite backtracking,
Ish.
but anyway, when I was 22, I had my own near-death experience. I actually stopped breathing.
On
And
purpose?
no, yeah, no, and actually, and to this day, an angel, because when I was in the hospital, and this was 3 days after I had surgery, a nurse happened to be walking by when I was having a stroke, when I was struggling breathing, and she noticed, and I wasn't even her patient, and she just happened to be walking by. If she would have continued to walk by, I would be here. So
She's
anyway,
a nurse. She was obviously aware something needed to be done.
yeah, so she got in there and got all the doctors and everything, and they brought all their, equipment and stuff, and I was like up on the ceiling at that point, looking down on them, going, hey.
Did you actually remember that?
Yeah.
I've read other stories like that.
Yeah. Mine's a little different. Is the fact that what happened was as it was, as I was having trouble struggling breathing, it was almost like someone had shot me 200 miles backwards in an instant. I could feel my body actually, it was like G-forces,
Mhm.
going back.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden everything went black. I heard one voice. At first, what happened was, he said, that it wasn't my time and that I had to come back. He said, but it was my choice. And I said, I had to think about that for a minute. I actually remember thinking about that for a minute, because I was like, I'd already gone through quite a bit of unpleasant stuff, and but then I went, I want to go back. If I can make a difference with somebody, I want to go back. So I went back, and then I described later to my father what the voice sounded like, because it sounded like a combination of 2 of my uncles. It's kind of emotional. But my dad's face turned white, and he said, "You're describing my grandfather's voice, or my father's voice."
Right.
My father's voice. And
Your
I never met my
grandfather.
I never met my grandfather.
Right. I have neither mine either.
Never met my grandfather. He died actually on the way to me on a road trip to Montana. I was being, evidently they were going to take me there to see.
Right,
or
visit,
something.
yeah.
And he died of a heart attack on the way. That's the story I recall. I don't, it's kind of.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it was a severe, like it would be for anybody. It's a transformative experience.
I would imagine.
And so when I hooked up with a man named Daniel Brinkley, brilliant man, he wrote 3 books. Helped him I went to one over in Spokane at the convention center. We went to one of those psychic fairs type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't quite psychic, but just different,
Sure.
things that had to do with spirituality and also UFOs and all
Nice.
that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe there's stuff
Yeah.
out there that we don't know.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, yeah. We won't get into that, but
We'll
keep
get
going.
into that. But anyway, so he went ahead and I went up to speak, to have him sign the book,
Mhm.
and he said, don't you know? And I said, what? It's like, huh? And he said, don't you know you're going to work with me? And I went, I don't know who you from.
Right.
Other than knowing
Right.
of you and that
Right.
you wrote these books, and
Right.
it was awesome. Saved by a Light. It was actually made by, I believe, it was made into a movie, but I believe it was Saved by the Light. It's been a while. But anyway,
Relax. It's all good. Go.
yeah, no, I just don't want to, because there's so many books that were
Right.
written
Right.
on that subject.
Right.
The titles.
Well,
I
if
don't
you
know, something.
if you know the author, with Daniel
Saved by the Light. Daniel Brinkley.
Daniel.
Daniel Brinkley.
Okay.
Transformative individual that I met
Mhm.
in my life. Unbelievable. Got me into hospice work.
How did- Okay.
Yeah, into a organization that he started called Compassion in Action,
Mhm.
and so I was vice president of the chapter here in Spokane.
Wow.
And we decided to work on veterans because he was a Marine, had served, a few tours in Vietnam,
Wow.
and also did a little bit of intelligence work.
Okay.
So, very, very strong individual, having 3 near-death experiences, actually struck by lightning twice.
Wow. If there is a God, what
Twice.
kind of God strikes you twice and not kill you? Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly, and I mean, he had to learn to walk again and
Wow,
learn
yeah.
everything. So,
Jeez.
but he is he's a mountain of a man. He's like 6, I don't know, 6. He looked like 6'7" to me.
Right.
But anyway, I also ran into someone who was another transformative person in my life, which was Ronnie Mound. She was the president of the local chapter. I
Okay.
was vice president, and also did training. She was an official trainer. I decided not to go that route. I wanted to just kind of sit in, though, on the trainings and listen to people's stories, because that was awesome.
Okay. What did a training consist of? And how long did that take?
Well, it's a government-run. You're working in a government-run
Mhm.
institution, so you've got to learn their
Right.
guidelines and stuff, and that we did that.
But if you didn't take the training technically,
I took the training.
Oh, you did eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I took the training right off because you had to take the training in order to work, in order to be a volunteer.
Okay.
However, I also could have become a trainer.
Right.
Trainer.
Right. Okay.
But I decided not to do that because I kind of wanted to be that. I wanted to be the dad, kind of, not wanted to, but just kind of fell into that role. She was kind of the mother, I was kind of the father. We weren't,
of the group that you
Of the
guys were.
group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and-
I get it.
and I wanted to be able to sit in and listen independently to their story. Not be the trainer, the person who has
Right,
to tell
right.
them, oh, you got to do this, you got to get this done, you got to
Right.
get that.
Right.
Just the one to sit there and
Take it in.
be, be there for them, through it, because it is a very emotional training.
Right.
I mean,
How long does training take for something like that?
it was one day. Yeah, no, it was a weekend. Excuse me, it's 2 days. But all day. 2
Right,
days. Yeah, and we packed that in because most people, like I say, were working.
Right. Regular jobs.
Yeah, at that as far as technical, for A+ certification. Working on. I always loved tinkering with computers. Like I said, when Windows 95 came out, about 6 months after it came out, I purposely crashed it. I purposely just messed it up because I wanted to learn
How to fix it.
how to fix it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I did it on purpose. I really messed that sucker up.
So you're doing a hospice as well as getting into the computer thing, kind of working.
And
I got a question. Here's a philosophical question for you. Because of what you're watching, dealing with patients and such, was working on a computer kind of a easier getaway mentally as emotionally?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
You're fixing and working on this. You're not going to hurt it. You're not going to. There's nothing, no pain like you've been in. You're not watching something quote unquote die. That's what I just.
but creating something,
Exactly, and making something come happen again.
because it's always easy. It's always easier to destroy than to create. And
Well, yeah.
when you watch something not be destroyed, because I always did have a firm belief, although not a going to church type of thing, but a spiritual belief that we are beings just here. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around.
I like that.
Because not physical beings having a spiritual experience.
Right,
The other way around.
Right.
Because we exist, I believe, for forever. We're created. It just has to be that way.
I'm hoping to see people that have passed on already. So
Yeah.
when I get there, so I'm not a religious person. We'll go religion. I'm not religious. Obviously, I don't think you are.
No.
Being spiritual, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and I've studied almost every religion under the sun, and have great respect for them.
I don't.
Well, there's some that have been misinterpreted, and
Well, it's man.
yeah, and besides, these books were written by men. They may have been inspired by God, but
Yeah.
they were written by
I know.
men, and also manipulated by
No way.
men.
Powerful money. Sorry, we won't get.
No,
All right, Mike. We
but I
got
understand.
to get back on track.
Okay.
I appreciate you've gone through some. Boy, if I would have known all this, I would have saved it. This would be definitely a 2-episode deal. And that's not a bad thing. It's just you have a lot to share. I mean, going through what I didn't know any of this stuff, and it's crazy. I understand. Obviously, it's affected you to do the hospice thing. Yeah. So you did this for around 10 years.
Yes.
And why did you finally stop?
Well, it's just like an ambulance, someone who works in a trauma ward or whatever. They say that they only have ambulance workers, for instance, say that they have a burnout rate of
Yes.
about 5 years. They've got about a career
So
window of 5 years.
So you telling me you got burnt out? I'm surprised. There's no way I could have lasted that long.
I didn't get burned out as much as it's sort of like a book in your life, and that's going to happen to all of you. You go through chapters.
Mm-hmm.
That chapter was over.
You're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Nice. You have a different.
done.
I think you have a different outlook or perspective. I love the word perspective because of what you've already gone through. So you're ready, and you already saw that. Okay, so.
But I loved every minute of it, and I never changed it. Being there at the moment of somebody passing.
I've never done that, nor do I want to.
It's great, man.
Well,
It's
you've already
really
kind of
great.
experienced. From
Only.
you and I talk off camera more because it's in depth. It's just.
Yeah, it's okay. I walked in a room one time. This is one kind of short story. Walked in a room, And I saw a guy who basically had a white towel around his waist, and he was spread out kind of like this on the bed. Okay? And, you know, just with his arms down, put his arms out, and, and his legs straight. And it was like a freight train hit me. He looked just like Jesus. Depictions of that.
Right.
And I was like, this guy's close. I can just tell. You know, I'd been doing it for about 3-4 years.
Right at that point.
So I could kind of tell. And I said, this guy's close. You know, he's going to go. So it was time for me to leave. You know, actually my shift was over, but I went, no, I ain't leaving.
You stayed with him?
So I stayed with him, and I work the foot of the bed, the feet.
Okay.
There's different people will work toward the head or, you know, that area. Some people on the side. I was like and guys, you know, you don't want to really do this as far as outwardly. You really got to suppress your emotions when you're doing this kind of thing, because you don't want to be joyful, even though you're seeing that this guy is like, wow, he's going into the unknown, man.
Right.
He's
But our society doesn't look at it that way, though.
No, I know. Sadly.
But you've tasted that.
Yeah.
So
And so I was like a little kid. I was just like, I was like a little kid. I was excited for this man, and I could feel, literally, as I was moving through the room, I felt like I had to do this, like I was meandering in a crowd, even though there was only 5 people in the room. It was a huge room.
Interesting.
What I felt was, I believe I felt was,
Right.
is spirits all around there. People.
Right.
Just people.
Maybe his friends and families
Yeah.
waiting to bring him over.
Yeah, bring him over. And
I'm more than aware. I've studied some of this stuff.
You are. I'm impressed that you and me
Have a lot of similarities.
Yes.
Michael, you'd be surprised. There's stuff I've experienced. I've experienced a lot of stuff. Not quite like you, and I'm grateful for that because I'm selfish and but thoughts and philosophies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I never underestimate or judge any book by its cover.
Well, what? Yeah.
Never do that, you know, because you're missing out.
Yeah. There's so much. Yeah. Trust me, I've been judging my life when I played with the long hair and everything. So, and even sometimes now, I'm good with it now. But back in the day, it's what?
Yeah.
Jealous of me? I know Brian was jealous of me. Still are, aren't you?
Definitely.
I know some others that were. We won't say names, but you brought so much excitement into other people's lives. You really did.
I that's one thing I try to do. See, but right now, you're sharing with me some of your stuff, and thank you.
But the reason I'm saying this is because, Victor, I want you to know that even though I did some of this stuff, and I do plan on writing a book.
That'd be awesome.
I do plan on writing a book about chronic pain from a patient's perspective.
Right. Nice.
Because I believe, and I've actually just recently had an experience with somebody who had been in a car accident, and they're giving him nothing for pain.
Wow.
He's having to just deal with it, and this angers me to the core. Not because pain can never be completely addressed, but it can. But we do have medications for that, and not everybody is going to become an addict because you're on these medications. I've been on them for quite a while. They say that that you have heart issues and this kind of stuff if you're on it for a long period of time. Well, Boulder Dash. I stay on a constant dose. My pain is controlled. I'm obviously comfortable right now.
Yeah.
and I can live my life.
I didn't know you were dealing with that any of the times I've been around you, so.
Yeah, there you go. So
That's a good thing.
that's because I was on a reasonable regimen of medication. I don't have kids. I I keep it, separate part of me, part of my, away in my apartment so that, nobody can get into it accidentally
Right.
at any time.
Sure.
And I think that the big opioid crisis is kind of pumped up.
It could be.
Because of the fact that it affects teenagers and kids, who get into their parents' stuff. Well, hey, parent your kids. Tell your kids about it. Educate them.
And that doesn't happen a lot from what I'm aware of. I don't
And
have
keep
children
your
with-
medications away from your kids.
locked up. All right, we're gonna move forward because we're
That's just my opinion.
no, and everybody has a right to their opinion. It is still America, by the way.
There you go.
Thank you. As anyway.
I love to live. I love to live in America because I can have an opinion.
Yeah. Well, even
We're
though
so lucky.
on social media they people tell you you're wrong.
Oh yeah.
I've been told I'm wrong. Have you been told you're wrong?
Yep.
Mr. King. I like it when they tell me I'm wrong.
Isn't everybody?
I don't know. I don't attack anybody because
No,
it's like it is America. I don't judge it. I've got better things to do.
Besides, I don't want to trample on somebody else's life experience or their
Thank you,
idea.
because you're aware of this. Other people don't seem to get that. So we're gonna hit the hospice thing. We're gonna have to get together another time to do more of the computer thing because
Sure.
your life story is so interesting. When you're doing hospice, how often did you do that 5 days a week? And when you did that, what was your typical task for the day? And what were your hours, et cetera, that you typically dealt with? Because at this point, I want to focus on that because I think somebody that might be watching or listening to the show could benefit if they're interested in doing this. There are people out there that may not know where to go or what it's going to take to do it. Besides, you're dealing with people that are passing or going through going the end of their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well. First off, what the best thing would be, and some of the best people that I've worked with were nurses. They were angels. One saved me.
Right.
Working with them, they were the best in the VA at that time. At that time, we have a big VA hospital here in Spokane.
Right.
We've got a big one, and it's not got the best reputation and
No, I've
something.
never visited.
But and I have most of my friends for some reason, are Vietnam veterans, or I gravitate towards military people. I always have. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just always have. Maybe in a past life I was.
Yeah.
I was in the military,
I'm not saying that we don't have past lives.
Who knows?
Reincarnation.
Yeah, I don't exclusively believe in that. I really wish rather that we go to a place to be commune with God.
I don't know about. I'm not saying yes or no because I don't know.
I don't know either.
So back to it. I'm going to ask you. Here we go. What do you typically have to do when you went and did that?
Okay.
What were your demands? What did you have to do?
Well, we
You don't just go walk into a hospital room
no.
or go to visit somebody's house. You go through your training.
go through the training. In that training, you're going to go through quite a bit of emotional, and we also were careful, and I was big time on this. Although I wasn't a trainer, but I really rode some of these people to train them to let things go, let them flow through you, because in life we have a tendency, as males, have a tendency to take all that stuff and repress that sucker down, just repress it.
Yep.
And so we had to train people to let it go through you. When you leave, if you lose an important patient, who's important to you, or
Right.
somebody that you were really close with, make sure you treat yourself. You go out, have a Dairy Queen Sunday. That was my thing. I had a Dairy Queen Sunday. So, and yeah, even though the ice cream hurt.
There's irony for you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Ironic, big time. But no, you do something to treat yourself. Also, you go in, like you say, typical day. You go in, you have to sign in on the computer, because they keep track of your
Like a
hours.
typical, that's like any job nowadays.
And especially they were strict about that because of military code. They keep track of their people. That's one thing that's good about that.
Right.
Deal. Anyway, then you go in, and usually what I would do, since I am sort of medically oriented, I had to be to save my own life.
Wait a minute, the
I
nurse
had to
saved your
stir-
life. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. No, she did. But yeah, I understand where you're going there. But anyway, no, I had to learn. I had to learn a lot of medical stuff, jargon, and all that stuff. Because to save my own life, because I had
Everything
some
you've gone
doctors
through.
that
Yeah.
had me going in different directions that were a little different. In order to save my own life, I had to do that. I had to study that.
Figure some stuff out.
And yes, and so I would go up and say hi to the nurses and everything, and hey, how's it going, all that stuff, and then I go right for the charts, and I start reading patient charts,
Okay.
make sure see where their breathing is, where everything is, and then
How many charts do you typically look at?
6 to 12
Okay.
at times, 12 max.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I didn't have a clue. Okay.
usually about, I guess, 4 to 6.
Okay, that's fine. I just,
Yeah, and
so in case somebody, once again, we're trying to give information to anybody that might
Yes.
be doing what you, so they may obviously run a different situation, but like I said, I've never experienced this. I don't think I've met people that work for hospice or but I've never sat down and talked to them like this, so.
well, we weren't part of hospice in
Right.
Spokane. I need to really say that because
Correct,
I don't
I'm
want
sorry.
to. No, that's fine. No, it's hospice. I mean, I worked at a hospice. It was the military hospice, and they did not have caregivers at all.
Wow.
I mean, Spokane Hospice, which is a wonderful organization, they have many levels. They've got their nurses. They come in. They've got their doctors. A couple of doctors that come in when needed. But they have caregivers and they have other levels.
Right.
And with this, you could become a professional caregiver
Okay.
and be paid for that. It's not all volunteer.
So you check the
So I
charts.
wanted to check the chart. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, next, and then then you go take a look, whoever you thought you should go visit?
Yes.
Okay.
Reason for checking the charts mainly was to know who was having struggles and stuff, and maybe if they could write down. We had our own journal, we had our own charts, so I have to go from those charts to our charts, which
Sure.
are notes from
Whoever
the
was-
previous
Sure.
people who were there, other volunteers, and we do that, and I would do that and go ahead and read up on each person, so I had an idea of the names and everything.
Sure.
And then dive in, get in there and
Start visiting and.
yeah, make sure, and they had a nice little family room. I spent a lot of time in there because I worked with families and stuff. Even
Mhm.
a few of them said that they wanted to adopt. I was 23, or 22, 23 at the time, and I was the youngest by far of the volunteers. So, because they were amazed that somebody my age would want to do this.
If they knew the backstory. Did you share the backstory with most of them?
I held that card close to my vest.
Sure you did. And yet,
Because-
you gave it to me quite easy.
Yeah.
Why is that, Mike?
Because I want other people to know out there.
Thank you.
I want other people to be able to know that
You
you
know,
can.
I'm right. I think you should know by now that I'm a jerk, but I don't do it in a bad way. You've seen what I've done with other people, obviously.
Sure.
So,
But-
I appreciate your trust with coming on the show and sharing that with me.
Oh, definitely. You know, out there, if you have, you know, and you have a chronic illness or you have a chronic pain and you're having trouble with your doctors, they aren't addressing your issues. You know, within reason and stuff, you know, tell them. Tell them, hey, you know, they work for you.
Yeah.
You're paying for that, you know. So, you know, get in there and say, hey, I need help, and I need to, you know, this is, you
Something's
know,
gotta happen.
something's got to happen.
Something's
You've got
gotta
to
change.
address
Yeah.
these
This
things.
ain't working.
Just because of the fact that some medications are deemed bad for society, if they're used properly and you don't abuse them,
That's part of it too.
then they work beautifully and they make you able to
Function.
function. Yeah. You know, I would be a mess if I was, you know, and I have been at times. Where
Yeah.
I have been off the medication. They say I was on one medication called methadone.
I've heard of it.
It is a much maligned medication, and because of the fact that they use it to bring people off of heroin. And
Okay,
kind of
that's right.
street
Okay,
drugs.
yeah.
And but it is a good medication to use for chronic pain because it's long lasting and it you don't have to give as much and you can. But they say that it is impossible once you're on it to come off of it by yourself. You have to, you know, have close medical supervision. Well, I had a doctor who lit out on me. Actually, he had me on a high dose of that, something equivalent to 600-700 milligrams of morphine a day.
Whoa.
That's what they say.
Okay.
Didn't feel that way to me because I wasn't zoned out, you know,
Right.
all the time. But it did do a lot. But anyway, what I did with that was I came off of it myself. I mean, believe me, I kicked the covers, but
Right.
as they say. But without you know, any help, I had to come off of it, and I was off of it for 9 months. About that.
Wow.
It felt like what women talk about pregnancy, because
As far as you
I was,
know?
yeah, as far as I know, because they, you know, pain, unbelievable pain. But the thing of it was, you know, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't find
Right.
a doctor who would work with a person who has a chronic medical condition.
Well, that's why they call them practicing. They don't know. They don't have the answers all.
No, you know, and please realize that, guys.
Yeah, doctors are they're humans too.
Yeah, they're human.
And hopefully you find one that's compassionate and understanding that's willing to work and find out what's going on and deal with it.
Yeah, and I found I have more recently found some a group of physicians that understand and will work with people like me, and they've really changed my life, man. I don't know about the last time that I had seen you before this
It's been a-
shock.
Yeah, it's been
The shock
a watch party.
watch party, yeah. You know, I lost 100 pounds. You know, it wasn't on purpose. it just kind of happened. But the thing of it is I feel better now than I have probably at any time in my life.
Probably multiple things though.
Yeah,
Mental,
except
Physical, 100
mental.
pounds is a lot of weight to carry around.
Oh, definitely.
So there's many things going on that's made that happen, make you feel better. You got to be happier with yourself in general.
Definitely. Yeah.
And to know at this point in your life.
Yeah. And I've never been one who's comfortable in his own skin.
I've learned how to be in mine, believe it or not, because people assume certain things, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
You can't. That's the thing that's why I don't judge people I just
But you need to learn. I mean, what if there's one thing that I could communicate to people, that is this. Learn to put all of the daily struggles, all of the daily stuff that's in your life that's going on when you're getting ready to go to sleep or do something very productive or do something whatever. Learn to put it in a box, put that stuff in a box, and mentally bury it for a while. Not repress it.
Right, not
but,
forget it.
Yeah.
You're just going to put it aside for a while.
There you go.
Yeah, but
lay it down.
You can always come back to that stuff. That's daily stuff. Well,
lay it down.
You and I being older, we've dealt with this stuff.
Oh, definitely.
So, all right, Mike.
Okay. Did you want to go back to the
No,
thing?
you pretty much covered what you needed. You did your basics. You deal with patients. You deal with people that in the families.
Yes.
No, you've given a lot of information. You probably don't think you have, but I've been listening.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
actually.
I have. I know you have. I can feel that. What happens to me is when I go to bed at night, and it's kind of difficult because of the fact that I can feel people, what's going on in other people's minds around because I live in an apartment complex.
Right.
Very big apartment.
Right. You said yeah.
And I wouldn't call myself an
Empath?
I guess I would call myself an empath, but I wouldn't call myself a mind reader.
Right. There's a difference. You can feel and kind of. Yeah. I know what it is. Trust me. See,
Yeah.
What are you feeling for me right now, Mike?
What I'm feeling from you is that you're enjoying the living H out of
I
what
love.
you do.
Well, I do love this, but I get to know. I just get to know you so much better, Mike.
That's right.
We've never sat down like this.
No.
We've said hi to each other. We've been acquaintances. I've talked to you, I think, more now than I talked to the other mutual friend of our's that we were around the other night. So,
Well,
and that's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, definite
sharing.
interest, and that's what makes a good interviewer is being interested, is having that interest.
I am
in
interested.
things.
I love learning stuff because I know I don't know. There's so much there's out there. All right, Mike, we're going to come into the end of this show. You're going to have to come back on sometime in the future because we didn't touch on the computer part, which that's fine. But I think the hospice was more important at this point.
Yeah.
Or not the hospice, but being around the patients and being part, and then sharing the other part of your story was more important than, I think hopefully that will inspire and help others. And that's the whole point of the podcast. Ryan and I, when this thing came out, Ryan came to me and negative information to anybody, some way, somehow watching this. Either don't be as goofy and wacky as I am, or try to run like Ryan keeps trying, or or something. So
Well, Ryan's cool. He lays back, man. He
puts up with me.
Yeah, he's good.
He asked me to be a part of it, so it's his fault.
But the reason I was able to do this, because believe me, it's very difficult.
Are you as nervous now? Now that we're almost done.
No.
See, it wasn't bad. You only, like I said, you're just talking to me.
No, but you know what? When I watched your it was Andrew, your last
Yes.
podcast.
Yes,
that
it
you-
was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you sent that to me, and I felt so gratified that you would send that to me and stuff.
I like to share with people that I know, and hopefully I can make a difference in someone's life.
Yes.
And so I've been fortunate to be aware that I have, and trust me, it's crazy, and that a little wacky guy like me has done things over the years to have people actually acknowledge that I've changed their lives, either through music, through the character thing I do, and now through this.
But I almost overanalyzed.
Yes, you
things.
did. I even shared that with Ryan. You're worried.
I overanalyze, and the thing of it is that wow, I saw that, and I was just sort of like, whoa, this is a safe place.
Oh yeah,
So even before I came in here, I was willing to share these things.
obviously, and I
Because
appreciate it.
because you create a safe
I hope.
Both of you do.
Hopefully, we tell everybody. Make fun of me. I have no issue people pointing and laughing at me at this point. But the main thing is to have people that are willing to share. I mean, the things you've gone through, I have no concept. So thank you for sharing. I genuinely mean that, and I hope it makes a difference for other people, because it makes a difference for me just to be able to know that you're my friend, that you would come on the show and share that with me.
Sure.
And share it with our audience. It's greatly appreciated.
And if I can make any difference in even one person's life,
And
God, it's all worth it.
don't you think you have though? You've been told you have.
Sure.
See, I haven't even. You haven't told me, but over the years, come on, people have come to you and thanked you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know, I mean,
And
if
yet,
somebody, if an older lady, you know, I work with her. I work with, as I work with all of the families and patients, and help them as comfortably pass into the next realm, and said, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's great. It's gonna be a party, man. They're gonna have a party for you. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's gonna be all your goodies and, you know, the whole thing. You know, it's good.
so
It's just
scary.
you're gonna have to struggle a little
Yeah.
bit here.
Well, they struggled to get it. We struggled to get here apparently. So it's
But we're and this is good to end on. We both chose and were chosen to be here.
I'll
I
let
believe
you,
this.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't. Yeah, there's questions I got, and we'll talk more.
We won't. We will anything
Yeah.
until we cross over. So
Right. Till we're out of here.
so
Okay,
believe me, I don't know all the answers either.
I know, not you don't come across like you do, but you've experienced things, or you believe something very strongly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
So
Boy, we haven't even gone through the bird thing, man.
No.
Yeah, it had a radiator.
We'll
explode
have
on
to-
me.
yeah,
But
we'll have to
we'll talk about that later.
we'll have to come back to, once again. We'll have you on the show again. I didn't know you had so much that we could share, and I appreciate it. So let's get it simple, easy. When you're a kid, what do you want to become? Did you want to become an astronaut? Did you want to become a cowboy? A
Pilot.
fireman? Huh?
Fighter pilot.
Ah,
And I have 36 hours flight experience.
screw you. I've actually thought about it, but I never, not a fighter so much, but just to fly.
Yeah, I flew single engine Cessnas. I was right on the edge of soloing, but I couldn't because of the medication that I took.
Medical issue.
And
But
I actually went in because I moved to Seattle in order to train. I wanted to train in the hardest airspace in the country, the most.
But
Yeah.
you've flown.
Yeah.
With everything you've gone through, you made that happen.
But
That's-
and I walked in and told the instructor I was on a particular medication that would preclude me from flying. I did not ever. I did not want to put one person in jeopardy.
Right. But you made this. You've actually done. You made it happen. That's one of the tagline for the show. You make it happen.
Hey, you know what? You want to talk about what I sense about you?
What?
You know what you and me are gonna do?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. But
Well-
but here, I'm gonna say this on the air now. We're gonna jump out of a plane together.
That won't happen. That won't happen. I guarantee you. I've had, but no, that won't.
Paratroopers,
No,
man.
no. That I guarantee that won't happen.
Ah,
Not while I'm alive. I've had other people offer to. No.
Oh,
Yeah, it won't happen.
I'll work on you.
Okay, you can work on me all you want. There's some things that don't change. Mike, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. We'll do this again. We'll get to the other parts that you have a lot of information to. I'm absorbing it right now. So, Ryan, you have any questions for Mike?
Do not.
Right on.
What
Thank
about
you very
you?
much. Hi. What about me? Any
Do
more?
you have any further questions?
I have lots of things going through my head right now, but we'll take some of these. I'm laughing at he thinks he could get me to jump out of a plane. Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Well, see, I'm gonna go last. See, in the
Yeah, you would have to get me up in the plane thinking that, this ain't gonna happen. There's things I just have no desire to do.
well, how about I go with you on your first flight training? And just
That's
silently sit in the back.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen now either because I know better. I'm slow. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow, Mike. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Behind the camera, Mr. Ryan King. Mike, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Nice. You'll have to share with our mutual friend, Steven. Steven, hopefully you're watching, because he's doing stuff now.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And please subscribe. Please leave a comment. And remember, it's your life. Make it happen. Mike has. He's gone through so much, made his life happen so much. You're a pilot. You've flown before.
Yeah.
I don't like him now. Until next time, we'll see you. Take care. Have a good night. Good day.
Bye-bye.